Good morning to all of you. Thank you very much, Grant, TIA board members, as well as members of the association. I'm humbled and privileged today to be here and super excited because not only that Amazon is participating for the first time, but we have the weather company talking about the cloud, so it's kind of awesome. So thank you again. When I joined Amazon Web Services 7 years ago, we had no clue how customers are going to react to the cloud. Today, cloud is not only one of the most talked about, but also one of the ways in which how businesses are acquiring technology has completely changed. Now, how we see that the on-demand computing infrastructure not having to pay up front, paying for what you use, ability to accelerate your innovation much more quicker, much more passionate way, and also kind of taking advantage of the massive scale and elasticity that it provides. We have seen tremendous growth in the last 7 years, and I'm super excited to share some of the stories with you today on this front. I'm proud to say that most of the largest and the most popular businesses today run on AWS from the startup side. Whether you think about Pinterest or Dropbox or Spotify or any of the newer ones. Now, you will see that we have got tremendous traction on AWS on kind of understanding the value proposition, and the value proposition is just too good. We have been outside the operational excellence and the security, which is one of the topmost priorities for the cloud. One of the things that the collective team is super proud of is the speed of innovation at which we launch few services. We are relentlessly working towards listening to the customers and currently talking about and releasing also amazing different services. And we have launched around 32 different services in the last 7 years. It ranges from compute, storage, network, CDN, application services, and management and deployment services that help virtually run any workload that you have today. And it's kind of, when I look back at the 7 years, I'm truly amazed at the use cases and the depth and the breadth of the use cases that have emerged in the past. So I'm really excited about this. One interesting data point from our growth side, which I really like to talk about, in the year 2003, Amazon was $5.2 billion in revenue, around 8,000 employees, and it was a technology-powered retail business. Today, Amazon Web Services is adding equivalent storage and server capacity that is needed to power the $5.2 billion business almost every single day. And it's really exciting to be at this growth. And we haven't really seen the hockey stick growth yet. But the opportunities that lie, the scope that is there, and as well as the excitement that we see around the cloud as we see different companies utilize is tremendous. We have not just the startups, obviously, leveraging the cloud, but the most surprising and the most innovative thing that has happened is that enterprises have started to use the cloud much more faster than we thought. And today, we have hundreds and thousands of customers in 190 countries, and you will see like the very skeptics and the critics of cloud that were really in the past in 2006 and 2007 were saying, why cloud? They have started to say, why not? And they have, to be honest, in some cases, become the internal evangelist within the company. They are talking about the cloud and having people leveraging within these types of enterprises. And you will see things like you see household names like Dole and Samsung and Shell and Elsevier and others leveraging the cloud in multiple different ways. And it's not just the enterprises. We are seeing we have seen more than 600 government agencies and over 2,400 educational institutions leveraging the cloud. The most security conscious organizations are leveraging the cloud not just for simple web hosting, but from running amazing mission critical intelligence operations and tasks. And that's because cloud has matured from not only being more, of course, scalable and elastic, but from a security standpoint, security is not a barrier anymore. It's more about the awareness of security that we have to talk about. There are a variety of different, more than a dozen security certifications, including FedRAMP, PCI, HIPAA, and so forth, that you can run a highly compliant workload in the cloud today. So from the world that I come from, I see a tremendous traction and tremendous innovation happening around in every part of the side. The interesting, and now the most vendor-neutral analysts also understand. And when I was working on this report from a cost estimation perspective, giving data to Gartner, one of the most interesting data point that I came to know, that I learned, and they published, was the AWS compute capacity is 5 times more than the 14 other vendors combined in this aspect. So it's kind of cool to see not only growth, scalability, elasticity, reduced cost as one of the how enterprises are leveraging today. So what we thought today, what we'll do is, I wanted to give a real perspective, a real customer, talking about real mission critical workloads and how we can, how everybody, every single person in this room today is touched by, and that's the Weather Company. So we would love to learn a little bit more about how Weather Company utilizes AWS and how they are actually talking about and also leveraging the cloud. Bryson.
Thanks, Jinesh. Good morning, everyone. And Jinesh, I think there's a bug somewhere in the system because we ordered a better day today. And I apologize. We'll try to get that bug sorted out.
I got the liquid sunshine from Seattle.
Thanks. So the Weather Company, most of you probably know us from the Weather Channel. Almost 85% of you have probably used our app this morning on your mobile device to understand what's going on with the weather here, where you're traveling to, et cetera. The Weather Company is made up of many divisions. Our TV division, where the Weather Channel is the #1 most distributed cable network in the United States, which is also got some really impressive technology in it around how we inject localized content into that linear stream. So if you watch and you see the local on the 8s, you see us do some pretty amazing things with technology, and we'll talk a little bit about that. You probably know our digital and our web and our mobile applications, weather.com and Telecast, Weather Underground. A lot of presence, top 25 website in terms of traffic and eyeballs going every day to check the weather on a global basis. We have a really big B2B business and B2C business, which we'll talk a little bit about in the next slide, and then a government side to our world. So GovMets, where we are working with governments and other businesses around the world to help them understand how they can do a better job forecasting, predicting the weather, and integrating it into the lives and the businesses within their countries. So a lot of audience, huge reach from a media standpoint, and a lot of technology that goes into making all of that happen. At the core of that is kind of our technology team, right? So we have to bring together all of the tools, all of the capabilities that power the TV side of our business, all of the localization, all of the video, all of the content, as well as all of the photography, and all of the data. Massive amounts, terabytes of data that come into our business every day that have to be turned into the world's best forecast and then have to be distributed out around the world. So on the B2B side, we are powering most of the broadcasters. So if you watch your local forecast and you understand from a local affiliate perspective. When you see the on-screen graphics, you see the presentation, you see that forecast behind the scenes, we're providing the tools and the capabilities to get that done. You really can't take a flight in the US if you haven't been touched by the data coming out of our forecasts. 85% of the airlines in the US and about 30% of the top 100 airlines in the world leverage our tools, our people, our technology, and our forecasts, do all of their flight planning, all their route planning, all their in-flight turbulence avoidance, lots of great stuff that goes on within the aviation business. We're the #1 energy forecaster in the world, helping energy companies and energy traders make better use of their capital based upon how weather is impacting their businesses. And massive work that we do within the insurance industries, helping insurance companies not just understand what the risks are to their business, but also helping them in real time protect and inform their policyholders around weather events that are occurring. So if you get a text message that says, Jinesh, your car's about to get hit by hail, you need to move it inside, we can help lower the costs and the risks associated on the insurance business. Weather's changing. We are constantly seeing the weather change, right? This year we saw a really low hurricane season. In other years we've seen really high hurricanes. 2012 was the hottest year in recorded history, right? So lots of different changes and a lot of big swings in severe events that are occurring in weather. All of those things are driving tremendous change for our business. As weather changes, the data points change. As data points change, we have to have the ability to transform ourselves to get into a place where we're more dynamic in how we scale our business and deal with the data and produce ever more reliable forecasts. So in the next 12 months, we're increasing the data points that we ingest into our business by 1,400%. The data velocity coming into our business is going to increase by over 300%. So massive change in the data side of our business, massive change into how we push content out. The number of deployments to our applications we're increasing by a large factor, 2,000%. We're going to be able to have a multitude of TV feeds going out, and so that we can pinpoint and target the content to the folks that are actually being impacted at that point in time by those weather events. And in order to support that, and in order to make sure that we're powering the business forward, there's a lot that we have to do from a technical perspective that has driven us towards a all-in cloud-based approach. Consolidating our data centers, building out new environments to handle all of these workloads, moving to an agile development model, and really completely fundamentally changing the way we work as a business and the speed at which we operate.
It's kind of cool to see like 50,000 plus flights cannot take off until they get data from Weather Channel or weather company. And so what we thought was, with the changing weather, change in IT is required, and the change in strategy is required. And so what we thought I will share with you, Bryson and I have formed these 4 different strategies that we have seen in companies. So I will share some of the real trends that we are seeing within the enterprises, share some real stories with you, and then Bryson will also chime in with how he is seeing that his company is applying these strategies and executing on them on that front. So let's get started on these 4 strategies. The first strategy is that we have seen within the enterprises essentially are the CIOs and the CTOs who understand the value of the cloud. They come up with a mandate that's saying, build all new applications and services in the cloud. We are seeing this is typically the first initial foray into the cloud-first policies or cloud-first strategies that come in. And the benefits of that is tremendous. Benefits are such a way that it helps you build these newer 21st century architectures, the architectures that can scale almost instantaneously. You can build applications with the newer web frameworks, with the newer design principles, with an ability to scale much more effectively at moment's notice. Now, we have seen the newer generation applications are really built for the cloud in a way that either they can build applications with sleep at night when nobody's using it, so you save money. The applications that automatically tell you which port is open and so secure themselves. Applications are intelligent enough to tell them that they will fail over when hardware fails into a newer set of instances. So that is without any downtime, your customers are not affected. The applications which are continuously updated with quicker, smaller updates, so that they can be newer features can be released much more quicker and much more faster. So we have seen tremendous. Can you go back one? We have seen tremendous benefits in this, essentially around a variety of different enterprises leveraging. One of the examples here that is from Autodesk, building consumer applications, which are AutoCAD and engineering models for the web and for the mobile devices. So you can build and manage these effectively, and it's extremely less expensive to run those applications as well. The most important thing in building applications for the 21st century and building it with the cloud design in mind, now we have seen the most important benefit that enterprises get is speed and agility. The ability to execute quickly and kind of release things much more faster than what they have done in the past. What do you think? I
mean, speed and agility is at the heart of it, right? Yes, there's cost benefits, and yes, at the end of the day, you can lower your total cost, but it is all about the speed. When we look out across our fleet of applications, whether it's weather.com or the local visualization products that we're deploying out there around radar or on-screen graphics, pilot applications. If you're a pilot, you probably have Pilot Brief installed in your plane or on your iPad. Our weather APIs, our mobile applications. The key is to really pick up the pace on innovation, roll out iterations as quickly as possible, multiple times a day. And so we're in a great place because we're in the process, and we started this about 1.5 years ago, of rebuilding everything and really fundamentally changing the entire backbone of the company. And so kind of this first strategy we're talking about, where you're natively building the applications to be cloud enabled from day one, where there is no origin infrastructure. There is no place that we're running in here and offloading it. No, we're building it completely from the ground up, the development environment, the QA environment, the test environment, all in one environment, one kind of logical environment. It's been able to take our teams from one big monolithic approach, split them up into decoupled teams where we can quickly innovate, get releases out 4 times a day. I mean, those sorts of innovations where we're not hamstrung by infrastructure, we're not constrained by who's deploying code next to QA, and do we have the next slot, and where's the next landing slot going to be for that release? Being able to really unfeather the teams and just go full speed is a massive benefit for us.
I agree, and the thing that we have seen across other enterprises is also that the ability to execute quickly gives them not only the competitive advantage over others, but also releasing things much more quicker and much more faster helps them to gain revenue and market share as well. What we are seeing also is not just that they're launching new applications in the cloud, but we are seeing enterprises creating complete new lines of businesses. In this example, we have seen NASDAQ had a completely awesome new idea to build what they call FinCloud, which is a financial services cloud on top of AWS, offering financial services customers the regulated environment that they have to be compliant in on top of the scalable and elastic nature of the cloud. So we're seeing not just newer applications, but we're also seeing newer lines of businesses built as a result of that. So that's strategy number one, is building newer applications that lots of enterprises have today. But strategy number two is where I'm super excited about, is also the fact that lots of enterprises are augmenting their on-premises IT capabilities with cloud resources. And this is fundamentally one of the fastest way how customers are leveraging as well. So how they do that is they integrate their existing on-premises IT environment so that it can breathe in and breathe out inside in the cloud, so that it can extend your existing data center to the cloud. And they do so by essentially connecting to the environment directly. So there are cloud has matured in a variety of different ways. Now it knows what's your internal network, how we can embellish and add more features to your network as well. So you can connect using the Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, which is an isolated fabric, network fabric that is underlining all of EC2 fleet. It gives you an opportunity to create public and private subnets in a highly secure way. It creates a VPN tunnel with an ability to have a private dedicated connection from your offices using a customer gateway to that in the cloud. Now, it has an ability and a full control changing the route tables and the IP tables and how you want to route traffic. So customers find this extremely beneficial, advantages when they can decide what encryption at rest and what encryption at transit they can have. So it gives that complete environment, and it has matured so much that lots of enterprises start that way. So one of the things that we see in how they leverage is they take their existing applications and make them better by using the cloud in a more effective way. So we realize that there are lots of applications that are running on premises. Every application can be made better by using the cloud resources. We see that applications, analytical capabilities increase when they move lots of data, analyze that in the cloud, and then put back the results back into the on-premises applications. We have seen applications which are increasing the higher availability of that application by doing disaster recovery and backup and running storage appliances on premises that seamlessly back up data to the cloud. So one example to share with you is S&P Capital IQ. S&P Capital IQ is one of the largest firms that analyzes and does research around multi-class asset data and provides it to institutional investors and advisors and wealth managers around the world. And they do so by providing very highly customized recommendations on what to buy, which funds to buy, and when, and so forth to their investors. And they have existing SQL Server databases. They BCP and extract all ETL, they extract that data out, store that on Amazon S3, which is our storage service, in a secure way using server-side encryption, start up a bunch of Hadoop workloads to analyze and process that data in the cloud, so leveraging the elasticity and the scalability, and then again go store back the results back into the SQL Server on premises to get the effectiveness much more quickly. And they do that almost every single day to get the extra horsepower that cloud provides them, at the same time embellishing. This is a classic example of how enterprises are augmenting their existing applications.
In our world, we're kind of doing that and taking it even one step further, because when you look at the intersection of consumer behavior and weather, it's a pretty tremendous impact. There is a massive intersection of the global economy that we estimate to be about a 30% of the global economy impacted by weather every day. And so our WeatherFX platform allows us to work with customers, work with companies, and help them really fine-tune their businesses, their ad models, their inventory models, their staffing models, et cetera, to adjust and understand how weather impacts them on a day-to-day basis, and in real time then help them change and react. To do that, we have to take their data, our data, we have to take it from our own environments, and we put it in Redshift. And we compute, and we analyze, and we understand, and we get the ahas, and we get the insights. And we're doing that constantly by taking and mashing up data from all over our enterprise and all over their own enterprises. And we're putting that into the cloud. We're doing that analytics. It's an incredibly scalable, fast approach. We've loaded billions of records in incredibly low times. And we're constantly updating it. And so we basically have got amassed terabytes and terabytes of data today that sit in the cloud, historical weather information, billions of records. We then take all of our customer data, we mash that up, and we help find those insights that then we can turn into systems that are helping them update and change their business in real time. As weather becomes more severe and we have more severe events, there's more data for us to process. So this trend is constantly growing, and we're constantly having to adapt. And one of the best things about the Redshift environment or any cloud environment is where you can really take the scalability, planning, and all of the time we were spending churning on, well, what do we think we're going to need next year? Well, we don't know. Right? We can't predict whether or not next year is going to be an above average, average, or below average hurricane season. We're going to try, but we don't always know a year out in advance what's going to happen at that level of detail. So being able to scale and take that data in real time is phenomenal. And for us, it's all about improving the prediction and the accuracy of our forecasts. We are the world's most accurate forecaster. We're very proud of that. We get measured every month by a third party, and we're very proud to be the most accurate forecaster in the world. We are constantly trying to improve the accuracy, and every decade we make advances. We make advances to improve the accuracy, and you can see from 1980 to 2010, our 3-, 5-, and 7-day forecasts constantly growing in the accuracy that we have. Our ability to leapfrog and continue to make that better is driven by a multitude of factors. It's the science that we have in it. It's the meteorologists that we have and the algorithms behind it. It's the data that we can ingest. We have 800 sources of data today. Like I said earlier, we're trying to grow that dramatically. Terabytes and terabytes of data coming in. The more data we have in, the better our models run, and the better that we can produce accuracy increases in the future. The next is how fast can we compute it? How can we scale and grow the compute? How can we ensure that as we grow our forecasting capabilities, we can scale the environment dynamically with it? When we have really calm weather days, we don't need the same compute capacity that we need when Sandy's rushing on shore, right? So we have to ensure that all of our forecasting capabilities, all the distribution of this data can scale and grow with it. We bring in data from governments, we bring in data from private universities and research facilities, private suppliers. We bring in data from all over the place. We have to churn that, and we look at all of the models, we churn that into our forecast, and then we ship it out to all of our media properties, all of our B2B consumers, and all of the international partners that we have around the world. We do this, and we're building all of our next-gen forecasting environment completely in the cloud. It's a cloud-native application that is being moved there so that we can scale this and grow this over time, because we don't know a year from now what new data sources, crowdsourcing of data will bring. We don't know exactly what we're going to need, and being able to do that, mash that data up, and run that in a clouded environment really gives us an amazing opportunity to scale that we've not had in the past. And when we look at the environment moving forward, our ability to improve accuracy, save lives, and ensure that we're protecting both life and assets and property, as well as improving businesses' ability to predict and act from the weather, is really all hinging on our ability to grow and scale the compute environment as quickly as possible.
So it's kind of cool to scale on 2 dimensions, not only just the users, but also on accuracy, so you can do more and more applications quickly.
That's right.
So the other way we see how enterprises are augmenting the IT capabilities with cloud resources is by building applications that integrate back to on-premises apps. And how do they do that is every application, it does not have to run 100% in the cloud. They have to, we realize for compliance reasons, you might have applications that you want to go back and connect to the application. So you leverage best of both the worlds. In this case, now one example that I like to share is Samsung. How many people have Samsung TVs at home? Cool, I do too. The Samsung Smart Hub TV delivers all of their content and application data through the cloud, but when there is an authentication or a transaction required, they connect back to on-premises environment. And by doing so, they have saved $34 million by not having to build another data center just to deliver the content. This is a classic example of how a hybrid application can be built that leverages the on-premises environment.
Yeah, so in our world, we
can you go back
one. I think it jumped 2. In our world, we've got one of the most interesting legacy kind of on-premise environments you can imagine. We have over 4,000 what we call star boxes that are running and integrated in all of the cable head-end units around the United States, so that we can inject the local forecast, the safety warnings, the local data, the local radar, the local on the 8s, the ticker, all of the things that you see on the Weather Channel. That is a very legacy integration that we have to deal with. So taking data that's being generated and stored and distributed out of a cloud environment and integrating that hybridly, not just with our own on-premise systems, but systems that are integrated in 4,000 cable head-ends around the United States is probably the coolest example I can think of a real hybrid app.
Cool. So strategy number 3 is really migrating existing applications. And this is typically happening over in a 6-month or a 12-month migration plan. And companies realize that as quickly, if they invest quickly on a proof of concept, they realize the benefit quickly, and then they move to the next stage of understanding which applications can be moved first versus the next. And we have seen today, because any commercial vendor software is available in the cloud, from SAP to Oracle to Red Hat to Microsoft, and you can run these mission critical applications in the cloud and migrate them on a scheduled cycle. Now we have seen Lionsgate, News International, Bristol Myers Squibb, and others really leveraging the effectiveness and migrating their existing applications to the cloud and seeing the real ongoing cost benefits that happened because of the movement of the cloud.
And we did this too. We took a radar application which runs off of Weather Underground, and we migrated it to the cloud, which was phenomenal for us. I mean, radar is a very compute-intensive application to generate and to run, and to be able to scale that up or down based upon the weather is massive. Being able to ingest data from 30,000 personal weather stations all around the globe and ingest that and bring that into our models, again, more opportunities for us as we look towards how we migrate more and more of our infrastructure to the cloud. The big win for us is when we do that, we can take advantage of that scaling. If we look at what happens to an environment prior to getting into an elastic infrastructure, your server count is fixed. You get additional traffic, you get additional load, a storm hits, and you max out. And that's not a great user experience. An example during, and this came from Sandy, where we scaled up to 170 instances from 110 during the onfall or landfall of the hurricane. We saw massive amounts of traffic increase, which you would expect. Being able then to balance out the CPU load and keep our response latency, in the 5 to 15 millisecond range was a massive win for us, and provided incredible, end-user experience.
It's really cool to see, performance and scalability both tying in that strategy. The last strategy is around, strategy number 4 is around all-in. Now, enterprises have made executive decisions that they are not going to invest any dollars now in building and managing their data centers, and they want to do all their investment in the cloud. And one company, which is one of the largest enterprises as well, is Netflix, right? Netflix started off with a basic transcoding application. But now they're running 100% on AWS, now running applications ranging from log analysis to personalization to the entire Netflix.com and the streaming app. Now, they're seeing tremendous benefit as a result of the all-in strategy that gives them the benefit of a complete using all the different services in one go.
Yeah.
What do you think?
And so we're all in. We've talked through a lot of strategies today, and we're using all of them, and most enterprises would. Unless you're able to start as a startup and be all in from the very beginning, the rest of us have to migrate ourselves there. This is a 3-year journey for us. We're a third of the way through it. We're following all of the strategies, and we're gaining a tremendous amount of capability from moving to the cloud. We're gaining the ability to handle these massive swings in volume, to transfer terabytes of data around every day, billions of requests during our peak load times, and we're finding ways to save money, decrease hosting costs, and increase velocity. Increasing velocity at the end of the day in our business is almost more important than the money savings that we can find by relying on infrastructure as a service. And so we're working across all 3 strategies to go lightning fast.
This is the first time Weather Company is publicly announcing the fact that they're all in on AWS and kind of focusing on getting all these benefits of agility as well as cost on that. So just to kind of wrap up, there are multiple ways to get there. There are enterprises who are making multiple different ways, executing on different strategies. Now, it's not just all or nothing. Right. It's parts and something. You're seeing strategies that are building new apps, migrating existing applications, augmenting existing applications, or running completely all in cloud. And we are seeing tremendous benefits on how enterprises are leveraging the cloud and kind of taking that to that next level. So I would like to thank Bryson Koehler for coming in and sharing their thoughts and vision of how TWC is using AWS. And we'd like to also thank all of you for listening. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you.